Hi, it's Tom and Ann from 2 Cave Aquatics, and making this video today, this evening, because one of my subscribers asked me a very specific question regarding my feeding schedule for all my fish, and what kind of fish food I give them. So before I know I don't use all these every day, but there's specific foods up here. Before I get into what kind of foods I feed my fish, I need to describe some of the fish I have in here. These are my silver hatchet fish. They're topwater fish. And there's some marble hatchet fish. They're topwater fish. They need certain foods that'll float on the top long enough for them to get enough food, or they'll go hungry, or worse. Because unlike the rest of my fish, schooling fish, and my Danios, my Rasbora, my Harlequins, the Corys, of course, they'll eat just about anything. But yeah, I need to make sure that my hatchet fish eat. And these hatchet fish have been in here like over 2 years now, so it's obvious they're getting plenty. But see how they hover right? They know there's food up there. They'll hover right there, but they will not go down more than like 2 inches at the absolute most into the water column for their food. Unlike the rest of these fish, they'll eat from the water column and come down the bottom and eat. As well as I have an established food web in here. I added sea shrimp to this tank a long time ago, and there are a lot of microscopic life. I mean, things you can only see with the microscope that are live in this aquarium and in the substrate here that my fish feed off of, and that multiply and feed on the catappa leaves I use. And then even more so than my hatchet fish are my African butterfly fish. They're topwater fish. We have 6 of them, and they will literally sit in one space and not move all day except for their tails. Mostly, they know they're starting to gather because they know it's feeding time for them. I don't feed them live crickets every day. Couple times a week, make sure they're getting plenty of food and good high protein. I've also got some other floating foods that I use that they're eating, but I do make sure that these African butterfly fish get fed, because they will not go below the surface really at all. They strictly feed off the top of the water, and they sit like this all day in their natural habitat in here, just waiting, looking up and waiting for a bug, an insect to fall in the tank. So I've got some live crickets for them. I've also got a spotted talking catfish down here in this cave. He lives in the back of this cave. He's very, very nocturnal. He's only going to come out at night. He rarely ever comes out during the day. So I also have to make sure that it gets enough food. It's a pretty good size now. I've had it over a year and a half. And I got to make sure that there's adequate food for my spotted talking catfish when the lights are turned out and it comes out to feed. So I have a lot of fish from around the globe, and a lot of them have, their dietary needs. So I offer them a wide variety of foods. I mix it up from time to time. And speaking of my African butterfly fish, and I have Annie hold the camera. They're patiently waiting for crickets. Some of my rainbow fish will come up and grab some of the crickets now too. There's some barbs. Roseline sharks will go after them. So I got to make sure the Boesmanis are getting bigger now. The rainbows are going to get up to like 5 inches. A lot of these rainbows in here will grow up to 5 inches. My roseline sharks will go up to 5 inches. So they got a lot of growing yet to do. But at any rate, let me get this and grab some live crickets. I get them at Petco. I never feed my African butterfly fish wild crickets that you might catch outside or bugs. They're now they get to go in and they're just going to start gobbling them up. Thank you, dear.
You're welcome.
And the African butterfly fish, we'll grab them. Their food kind of needs to be fairly close in front of them. Oh, there goes one of them. My rainbow fish are going after them, but I always make sure there's plenty in here, and there still is, for my African butterfly fish to each get, you know, at least like 2 crickets each. I have one in the back. Just grab one. This one's got a bit of a cricket hanging out of its mouth. They're all, there's still a few. Actually, there's several crickets left. And the movement, there goes my angelfish. But there goes another one with a butterfly fish. I have them on small crickets. They're not quite big enough for medium-sized crickets yet. I tried them on medium-sized crickets, and they have a more difficult time to swallow them. So I'm just keeping them on these smaller crickets. There goes my angelfish. But yeah, I gotta make sure that they get, once the crickets get down, there goes my turquoise rainbow fish off of the cricket, part of a cricket. But once any of this food gets down below these African African butterfly fish, I'm sorry, yeah, they're not gonna get any food. So I always gotta make sure that they have plenty of food. That's the only way they're gonna get it. There's a few left that they will eat, but these will all be gone in shortly here. And like I said, I always make sure that I add some food for my spotted talking catfish, before I turn the lights out. Make sure it gets plenty of food. And for the rest of the food I use, and some of it's very specific too. This is shrimp snowflake treats. It's a very high protein, made from pure soybean husks, and shrimp and other fish like it. My spotted talking catfish likes it, so I leave some of that with some other food out for them at night. And especially my Chinese golden algae eater. Now, they start out when they're little eating algae, but if they get about 3 to 4 inches long, they need a lot of protein in their diet, or there can be some issues. I have tubiflex worms. My angelfish will eat these out of my fingers, about half of one at least. But most of my fish will, including the hatchet fish or the butterfly fish, because some of these will float on top once they start getting broken up. I also make prepared foods, boiling water. This rapashi, this is Community Fish, Community Plus. And this is an algae, super green algae, spirulina based food. It's powdered food, and you just put some boiling water in a small plastic container, add enough of this stuff, stir it up really well, put it in the refrigerator, and it solidifies. And I could just use pieces of it at a time and toss it in my tanks. As far as fish food, I use omega-1. It's a whole seafood protein made from whole seafood. There's no fillers, cereals, or anything like that. I don't use those kind of generic fish flakes. I use this. This is an insect-based fish food, all insect-based, because a lot of my fish do eat insects. And these sinking algae wafers for my Chinese golden algae eater and my auto-sinkless catfish. My Siamese algae eater. Sometimes, you know, I put it in the tank. My spotted talking catfish will eat it too. Mineral junkie bits. This is calcium, minerals, all that good stuff for everything in the tank. Catfish pellets, because I have a lot of Cory cats. Pictus catfish, spotted talking catfish, other catfish. Daphnia, I'll add that occasionally. First bites, because this is all some of the first. This is really very tiny fish with tiny mouths. Fish for fry, and it floats on the top, so I make sure some of my hatchet fish get some of this stuff during the week. And these pond sticks, these float on top. They're good and healthy. And these I can break up. They're small pieces, but I can break them up like in half. And I'll toss them in my 60-gallon tank with my African butterfly fish. Those float on the top, and they will eat those as well. That makes up, and I feed pretty good. I mean, you know, I put 2 flex worms and flakes, some insect-based food, some pellets, algae tablets, maybe some Daphnia, and at one time, a good amount of food, because I have a lot of fish in here, and it doesn't take them long for it to be eaten up. And I skip 2 days a week, and there's no overfeeding issues, and I got good water clarity. My water parameters are always good. So that's basically my feeding schedule, and I'm going to go ahead and put some of this flake food in with my rainbow fish and roseline sharks and stuff. So could you open this top a little bit, please? So I just want to pull this camera and get some of this flake food in. Good salmon and seafood based, high protein, good flake food that they all eat. It floats on the top, and some of my African butterfly fish will eat it from the top. A lot of my other fish will dart up to the top. Once it absorbs some water, it'll start going down to the water column, little tiny bits, and the fish get into a feeding frenzy and gobble it all up. Every last bit of it. They don't miss anything. Every last little speck. Even my algae eaters out. My Siamese algae eater here. They're all, my angelfish is going up for some. And then when that is all eaten up, then I plug my hang the back filter, my Seachem Tidal 110 hang on the back filter back in. Because if I leave it on while I'm feeding my butterfly fish, it just kind of blows the crickets all over the tank and sends the crickets tumbling down into the water column, and then it's a feeding frenzy. And so after I feed them all, after all this food is gone, then I will turn that filter back on. Sea Chem titles have a just top of the water skimmer that removes all that stuff from the top of the water, and as well as it's got a pre-filter sponge on the bottom of the intake tube. But that's, like I said, that's my feeding schedule. So thanks to the subscriber that asked me what I feed my fish. And that's a good, I gotta put those crickets back. And there's my Chinese golden algae eater over here. She's about 7 inches long. She's in that cave there. She gets algae wafers as well as the shrimp treats, the snowflake treats, the high protein stuff. Because like I said, when they're small, they eat algae, but when they get bigger, they need a lot of protein in their diet. So, hope everybody has a great day. We've gained some new subscribers recently. So, don't forget to like and subscribe. And I hope everybody has a great day or the evening, depending on where you're at on the globe. And I'll be back with another video soon. And I'm going to go feed the rest of my fish. Thanks.